What's up, everyone? In this issue of Motive Garage, we're going to try and get Facebook to fix our WRX. Now, I think you already know what we're going to say about this, and that is Facebook cannot diagnose your car. Now, we're all for DIY and trying to fix things, but you simply can't see the car, touch the car, hear the car, even smell the car to find out exactly what's wrong. So when people give you a diagnosis of what's wrong with your car over the internet, usually it's just a shotgun effect. So we tried it with our WRX to prove a point. We've got a bit of a problem with this car at the moment. It's idling funny, shooting flames out of the inlet manifold and doing some pretty weird stuff. And we probably got 20 different replies on Facebook of what is wrong with our car. Now, if we went and believed every single one of those things, we would probably spend an entire week and spend thousands of dollars swapping different parts over to probably chase our tail and get back to where we started again. Now, what you need to do if you've got a major problem with your car is don't try and fix one thing at a time and spend a whole bunch of cash. Take your car to someone that knows about the car that you're working on and they can diagnose it straight away. Now, with a WRX, who are you going to call? This is who you call. Say hi, Internet.
Hi, Internet.
It's not your normal weird problem. I've already had an airflow meter break before, so I know what they do when they go wrong. Last rally sprint, the car already felt quite sluggish, but at the last rally sprint, it started idling really funny. It was hunting, the check engine light came on. I initially thought maybe idle stepper motor. Put a new one in, changed it, unplugged it, played around with it or whatever, that didn't fix it. So then I looked for vacuum leaks to see if that's why the idle was hunting, going up and down. That didn't fix anything, and then I stumbled across a really weird problem. Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. This will entertain you. Hear that click? Yeah. Right, so the idle sounds WRC spec, which is cool, but it doesn't drive right. It has that occasional click. Are you ready for this? It does it sporadically. There are flames coming out of the inlet manifold. I think we can say that that's not normal. We shouldn't do that. All right, now here's where it gets funny. I posted a video of that on WRX user groups on Facebook and said, has anyone ever seen their car shoot flames out of the inlet manifold for the port that goes to the brake booster? Has anyone ever seen that? Yeah. Everyone's first reaction was no. No one had ever seen it. But here's the funny part. Even though they'd never seen it before, everyone was quick to tell me what was wrong with my car. You want to hear just some of the things? So obviously it all started, airflow meter was the first one. Yeah. Vacuum leaks, obviously. Idle stepper motor apparently somehow causes that. ECU is another problem. Some people were saying fuel pumps and other people were saying that you've dropped a valve. Like, they're just the first lot of things people said. Now, if I was to go off all that, I'd sit there doing all this. Now, a couple of smart people said, have you got a scan tool? Because the check engine light's on. I'm like, well, I'm not a Subaru workshop, so I don't have a scan tool. I don't have a compression tester that'll fit this WRX. And lastly, I've never done a timing belt on one of these, so it's not really my specialty. So my attitude is, all those things on Facebook aren't really getting me anywhere. I hadn't learnt anything, so I'm just like, well, I need someone who actually knows Subarus to have a look. Have you ever seen that? And what do you think that is based off knowing what everything else causes?
I haven't actually seen fire out of the brake booster before, but generally if there's any kind of ignition or fire inside the manifold, that's cam timing. Yeah, let's scan it first, we'll have a look at it.
So this is the bit that you can't just do at home because Facebook said so, and that is to get a scan tool onto the OBD port in the WRX and see what faults come up. You either got to take it to a workshop, or you need to have a really good friend with an awesome beard who has a scan tool because he does lots of Scooby-Doo stuff. That looks like a really, really old Nintendo video game. And it's got Japanese writing on it. You bought that in Japan at some second-hand shop, didn't you?
Yeah.
See, this is how you problem solve. You look for clues and then you work it out. So, let me ask you this then. If you get a code with the idle stepper motor, that doesn't necessarily mean your idle stepper motor is broken. It means that your idle stepper motor is doing things that it shouldn't. And if the cam timing is out mechanically and the idle stepper motor is forced to try and control the idle erratically, could that then be the issue?
Well, the particular code that we've got is actually relating to wiring, not the operation of the idle control valve. Yes, we've got an idle control valve code, but to me, it shouldn't be blowing flames out the inlet manifold.
Now, do we fix the idle control solenoid problem first, get rid of that code, and at least then we're only chasing one problem, or do we keep searching for the mechanical issue and look at the belt and all that sort of stuff?
I'm tempted to have a quick look at this only because we're here now. We can potentially see idle control valve feedback on this one.
So right now where we're at is slipped timing belt and having cam timing totally whack. Could be a bent valve, which would require a compression check. One other potential option is the injector O-rings have failed slowly and he's just pumping, which explains why it's rich, gutless, drives like crap, and now even more problems. So we've kind of worked out that there's 3 problems we can look at. Each requires its own piece of diagnosis. The cheapest and easiest one is pull the covers off and look at the cam. Replacing O-rings and the injectors could be another one, and then a compression check. All right, there you go. Now we have 3 things that are nothing like what the internet said to do. So I've talked about whether you should DIY or get someone else to have a look at problems on your car. One thing that I've always said is, if you get an expert to work on your car, they can do what you can do in an hour, sometimes in as little as 15 minutes. I'll use the GTR for an example. When I take the car to Croydon, they can pull an engine out, because they do them every day, in twice the speed I can, and they're little tips and tricks they know. Same with Benny. He'll know how to get the covers off this car in the exact order that does it the fastest, easiest way possible. I might take 3 times longer. So when you're getting an expert to work on your car, you actually save a lot of time more than anything else. And if you've got a good job and you make good money, sometimes that time's pretty valuable. Or you can DIY it and take forever. I don't know, whichever way you want to do it, I guess. What's going on? What have you discovered down there?
There's a lot of heat under the car, which, yeah, the headers are really hot considering how long we've had it running for. So that kind of points to cam timing being out as well. So we'll quickly whip these fans out and then we'll check the cam timing. It also means some slippery gypsies over-tighten the timing cover. Don't over-tighten EJ timing covers because it sucks for the next guy that has to deal with it.
The last person who did the timing belt on this obviously over-tightened everything.
And Loctited everything.
And Loctited, which you don't do.
Don't Loctite crank bolts on EJs, you don't need to. You just don't need to do it.
It just irritates Benny when he fixes your shit.
Yeah, I have to smash the timing cover to get it off. Oh, that wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. This is a tool by Company 23, a company in the States. It's a crank tool, so you don't need to put this crank bolt back in and out, in and out. So that's the OD of the crank is the ID of the socket. Then it's got a female keyway cut into it. Fits straight on the crank.
And you can turn
and
it.
It's just got a 1/2 inch drive in it.
So the first thing is to find out if it is actually got the wrong timing, and then the second thing is to work out why.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is align the timing marks. Subaru don't actually use top dead center as a timing reference at all. So if you try and time it with the center cover on and then put and then inspect it with the side covers off, you're never going to get anywhere because top dead number 1 is actually not where it's timed.
Got ya. So
they actually time the EJs with all the pistons halfway down the bore, so that on the off chance that you spin a cam while you're doing the belt, you don't bend the valves. So my gut feeling was actually wrong. The timing is perfect. So we're gonna go.
We've got a real mystery
to plan B. We'll follow what the scan tool said. And we'll just keep digging until we find something. So I've just quickly knocked the idler control valve out. There's sometimes the O-ring split. The O-ring looks good in that one, so we'll just whack that back in. But the scan tool did actually point to a wiring fault. So
would a compression check be logical next to check for low comp and an open valve perhaps, or a bent valve or something like that?
Yeah, I think we'll do a quick comp, just even if it's just on this side.
Yeah. Because obviously that seems to be where it's all kind of happening.
Yeah, so we do have that. Obviously, there's a reason there's fire in the manifold.
Are you kidding me?
No, mate.
So a WRX requires the most expensive thing ever to take the spark plugs out easily, is what you're saying?
Oh, you can spend an hour doing other ways, but this takes 5 minutes.
Look at that. Is made easier by having some stuff out of the way already.
Only $1,900 from your local Snap-on truck.
So we've scan tooled, checked timing belt to see, make sure it's all lined up correctly, and compression tested. These are already 3 things that you probably, your average DIY couldn't really do that, could they?
Yeah, not really.
And here's the funny part.
Some guys that have a comp tester.
Yeah, but we've done that and still haven't found the problem, which means it is a proper, full Scooby-Doo mystery investigation that we need to get underway now. So this is going to be interesting, very interesting. You could have chased your tail on this at home for God knows how many hours, but we'll work it out.
Why can I keep pulling this wire out and why doesn't it have continuity?
Ah, right. So literally a broken wire from moving it around could probably be it.
And that's why the idler control, because what's happened, the stepper motor can probably go all the way out and it can't come back. So it's fucking dialed in the idle, like probably cold start, it's wound it out one day.
Can't pull out. And that can cause problems.
Can't pull out.
Heaps of problems when you can't pull out.
Oh, it's expensive.
Very expensive, life-changing, you could say. The scan tool was right. It did seem like a mechanical issue though.
I am very happy to say I was wrong because in this instance it means the motor's still good. All in all, a relatively small thing has caused
a huge issue.
A huge issue and something that I wouldn't have guessed at all.
Well, Mechanical Stig and I got the car fixed and it appears to be running right, but there's only one way to find out. We're at the White Line Rallysprint once again. We actually missed the last round, but we're pumped to be back and try and work ourselves back up the order now that we've got a Rex that appears to be working correctly. We've got switches now, which means it's definitely a race car. Spotlights, intercooler, water spray and a horn. So we have switches, we're a race car. Recce time, let's go.
bit sideways.
In today's Pit Report, we're here with the legendary John Boston. Hello, John.
Hello mate, how are you?
Are you co-driving in a fast car and then driving an old car?
Yes, so co-driving with Phil Heapy in car number 1, so we're fortunate that we won the last round. I think we're fastest on the first run tonight. And I'm driving my very own Datsun 1200 because I'm a Datsun tragic.
A normal person would, after going in Phil Heapy's car, would just not know what's going on in this car by comparison. But it's still fun and you'll still be sideways, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's surprising. It's actually crept up fairly well. So it's got a little CA18 turbo in it and Sylvia brakes and Skyline rear end and everything. So she goes all right for what it is. So it was an old gravel rally car. So just having a bit of fun on the bitumen. It's still got the gravel height suspension, hence it looks like a bit of a land crab, but that's all right. We're here to do skids and have fun.
The most important thing is the power of the watch.
Yeah,
What time is it? What time is it? It's Boston time. So I saw this car ripping through Bankstown earlier today. It looked like it was on a high-speed chase, but obviously not. JJ. Is there still a screwdriver for a key?
Yeah, but I got my mum's for the cops don't get you, though.
Oh, it's your mum's car, that's right.
Hello.
So now when you get pulled over, you really can go, this is my mum's car.
Yeah, have a look at the back window.
Go.
Dirt on the outside.
First run was a 2-minute 21.6 from memory. Not too bad. It placed us 29th out of 90 cars, so we're pretty happy with the first run. Usually we go like 2 seconds quicker and then we go slower again as we try too hard throughout the night or whatever. But Shane, how much quicker do you reckon we were?
A second.
You reckon a second quicker. My gut was telling me 2 seconds quicker. It is 4 seconds quicker.
How?
Pow!
How is it 4 seconds quicker?
17.8. Nearly 4
How the hell? How's it? So you're 30, you need like another 10 seconds to beat us now.
Yeah, I'm gonna need another engine.
He said you need another engine.
We're on our celebrity search and we found them. Chris Alexander, Dom Rigoli. You know there's corners here, mate.
Yes, mate.
It's all good?
It's going to get interesting. 100% that had moved.
Averages tonight, I reckon. Good averages.
So what was it? Yeah, 21, 17, 20, 19, 18.